What's up, guys? I headed to practice with our 14-year-old team. Took over for coaching for them for the rest of this month and really haven't had an opportunity to vlog much today. A lot of crazy things going on. Believe it or not, our air conditioning went out on the main side, so had to deal with that. It was about 90, for those of you who follow me on Snap, you saw it was about 85, 86 degrees outside, and it was 92 in our building. So had to take care of that fun stuff, but wanted to take a moment when I'm riding to practice to talk about our 14-year-old team and how I'm proud of them for buying into the TPA way, kind of go into our mentality a little bit, and then talk about an example I used with this 14-year-old team a couple tournaments ago, which is kind of funny. But we'll start with our 14-year-old team, man. They've been so awesome the last couple tournaments to work with, and when I say they're really buying into our mentality, it's you know, that their attitude, their energy, and their effort are second to none, and that's really what we preach and what we expect. You guys heard in previous vlogs I talk about, you know, the hustling and you got to work for something, and there's so much entitlement in the game and so much individualism in the game, and you know, we really do try to preach the attitude part of it. It takes no effort to, well, I guess it takes a lot of effort, but in playing this game, you know, it really doesn't take any skill at all to be attentive, to hustle and sprint on and off the field and do the things that you can control. And it's amazing. Every single tournament that I coach, and the kids, they win the energy game, they win the game. And it's crazy. So this past weekend was a prime example of that. We had some innings here or there where they struggled with, you know, keeping the energy up. Some things went wrong. You know, they get down and then they kind of lose sight of what we're preaching. But the whole overall gist of it was, you know, that they showed up, they had energy from the get-go, they gave maximum effort, they sprinted on and off the field, and there's no secret why they finished in second place. And it's not second place in no silver, bronze crap bracket. It was second place in the gold bracket. And for those of you who don't know that, we play in a lot of Top Gun tournaments, and they have, you know, separate divisions. So if you win your first two, usually on Saturday, then usually you're in the gold bracket on Sunday. If you lose, then you're in silver or bronze or whatever brackets they have throughout the tournament. Well, a lot of kids are going home these days saying they won the championship and it was in the silver or bronze bracket, which to me is, you know, you're the first winner of the losers, which is ridiculous. So that's another topic for another day. But they finished in second place in the gold bracket, and the two losses that we had this past weekend were with or against Division I teams, and we're classified as a Division II team. And honestly, the team we lost into the championship game, you know, they're a very, very successful Division I team, and that was our third game of the day. Not we're making excuses whatsoever, but our third game of the day, kids were pretty tired. We really didn't have that much pitching, and they still went out and competed. And I got to be honest, you know, if there wasn't slaughter rule, we got beat pretty well, but we still fought at the end. You know, we got down 10-0 or 8-0 in the first inning, and they still came back and scored a couple runs and stayed into the game. And I think the biggest takeaway from this weekend is that, you know, they got absolutely shellacked, crushed in the championship game, but they still were cheering on their teammates. They still showed effort. They still showed energy. They still were into the game, and they were still competing, even though they were getting beat. And to me, that is what our program is about. We're trying to teach, you know, winners. We're trying to teach kids real life lessons. And the biggest thing is, when you're getting punched in the face, how quick do you get back up? Or do you just pack in and take your losses, right? We want to teach kids to fight, to continue to get back up, and even if they continue to get knocked down or get punched in the face, get back up and compete. And that's what they did this weekend. And you know, I think this is my second weekend with this team, and the funny story I have is the first weekend they were kind of struggling with this attitude, this energy, constantly being in the game, sprinting on and off the field, and they were also struggling with some of the concepts we were trying to teach. And one of the biggest things that we teach here at TPA from a hitting standpoint is to stay visually connected to the baseball. And that I could go into probably a 20-minute discussion about, what exactly staying visually connected means. But in a short story, it's keeping your head down on the baseball. We don't use that term, but it's keeping your head down, watching the baseball all the way in. Well, in this particular tournament, my first tournament with them, the kids decided they were playing some, lesser competition, what I would say from what we are, and they decided that we were facing slower pitch, and they decided that they wanted to try to not stay within themselves. They wanted to hit doubles and triples and home runs, which we teach. We want that, but that can't happen unless we're visually connected. So they were pulling their head a lot. They were really struggling with their approaches at the plate. They were thinking too much. They were trying to do too much. And that caused us to get down early and lose our first game, which we had no business losing. And then 3 innings into our second game, we were tied with a team that we should beat 30-0 without a question. And I made our kids, 14 years old here, I don't know if any other coach in the country would probably do this, but I made our kids for 2 straight innings bunt. 2 straight innings. I gave away 6. I kid you not. The third baseman and the first baseman were probably about 10, 15 feet from the hitters. I mean, they knew we were bunting. I didn't care. I didn't care if it was 2 strikes. I didn't care where the position or the defense was playing us. We were going to bunt. And it was to prove my point. I think some of the parents were getting pissed, like, what the heck is this crazy coach doing? But I was sick of watching kids pull their head. So I was at least going to make the defense work. I was going to at least make us put the ball in play and have the defense make 2 plays, field the ball and throw the ball to the base. And if we had someone with speed, put a little bit of pressure on them that way. So it's amazing. We got a couple base hits out of it, but we kind of pissed away 6 outs. And after that, those 6 outs we gave away, I called in the kids and I said, have I proved my point yet? We need to keep our head down. If not, if the next person who pulls their head, we're going to go right back to bunting. Well, long story short, yeah, I pissed away 6 outs, 2.5 innings, or pissed away 8 outs, 2 2/3 innings. In the ball game, we came back and we put an 8 spot up. And it was simply because our kids stayed visually connected. All right, and that was step 1 of us buying in. And then obviously this past weekend, they really bought in from a complete perspective. We call it playing baseball the TPA way. And it was really cool to see them come together. We got one more tournament this month. It's the Top Gun World Series. I'm super pumped. I'm actually driving to practice right now to get them outside and to work with them a little bit. But I guess my point of this whole speech is, if you don't have good attitude, you don't sprint on and off the field, and you don't buy into what your coach is saying, then you're not going to go anywhere. All right, and I know us coaches can be a little bit stubborn. It's got to be this way. It's got to be that way. We really try not to be like that. We try to be as open or as free and kind of coach, making our kids feel as comfortable as we can. But we do have some certain things that we say is a must. All right, and we make our kids do that. So if you're watching this, kids, the coach is always right. Even when he might be wrong, he is always right. Buy into his philosophy, buy into that process, and at the very least, attack every single game, every single pitch, every single out with maximum effort, with maximum energy. And it's amazing how much better you will get and how much better your team will be at competing and winning games. If we don't have any energy, we have lack of effort, we're not completely into it, we're not sprinting on and off the field, we're not communicating with our teammates. Honestly, if you win, to me, it's luck. All right, the other team gave you that game. All right, and we don't want kids like that. So I wanted to tell those quick little stories because it's really cool. I know they're only 14 years old, but this is why I do coaching, guys, and it's really cool to see kids buy into a process and see that process work. And I think the light bulb went off in their head. So, like I said, if you're watching this, try that. Try to buy into the process, and it doesn't even have to be in baseball. It could be in life. All right, your boss is driving you nuts. Well, buy into his process, give maximum effort every single second that you're there, and see what happens. That boss might be gone in 6 months, and it might be you in charge, and then you can run it the way you want. But at least you've established some ground rules for yourself. You're going to give maximum effort every single time.